So, this is my testimony about what happened to me, my experience with making a deal with the devil by accident. And the only reason I'm showing this is because people are gonna say that I didn't do this, that that it wasn't me, that it's a different person. So that's why I'm doing this. I've been contemplating doing this for a really long time, and like I'm finally gonna do this because a lot of people are getting hurt because I'm not speaking out about it, and I really feel like I have to. And this is something that I really didn't want to do because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. They don't believe in this kind of stuff, so I'm just gonna talk about my experience and what happened to me. So basically, long story short, I grew up poor, really poor. I had money problems. I grew up with a single parent home. So long story short, I had money problems my whole life. I got desperate one day and I went to a voodoo lady in downtown LA. It was a botanica, and I basically gave her some money so that she would help me make money. There were like adult spells and stuff, and nothing really worked. Things kept getting worse. I gave her at least $3,000 to $4,000. And like I said, things kept getting worse. Instead of making money, I lost money. I lost my job. Another thing, there's a thing called a nawal, also known as a shapeshifter, and people who are into the occult know about this. They know about werewolves, they know about vampires. Please hear me out, I'm not crazy. I thought I was crazy until I found out about all this stuff. And if you don't believe me about werewolves, just ask yourself, why are there people all over Facebook with doggy ears that represents werewolves? Why are there people with paw prints all over their cars that represents werewolves? Okay, so with that out of the way, so people into the cult go after people like me that are shapeshifters. You can tell people who are into the occult because they know everything about everybody. I mean, they know what you're going to make for dinner, what you're going to wear that day, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, your boyfriend. They're basically like psychics, mind readers, and these people, they do rituals and stuff. I'm not going to go into detail about the rituals right now, but the more into Satanism you're into, the scarier the rituals go. So some of the rituals could be like just torturing a cat or torturing a dog or an animal, and other rituals could be like torturing a person, hurting each other, and then others could be more intense, like torturing a person to death, torturing babies, pedophilia. That's at its highest level, and the more into this kind of torture you do, the stronger you are. So people who do these kinds of tortures, they can inhabit people and possess you and stuff. So another reason you can also tell if they're into the occult is they follow you around and they make smart remarks about like thoughts that you maybe had or things that happen to you. And Satanist people, they really get joy out of it, out of like stalking people and making fun of them, and just trolling people in general and bullying people. So that was kind of what happened to me. And I experienced times when I would be like at the grocery store and all these girls would show up and they would just make really smart remarks to me. Um, oh, another thing. Um, you can also know me as the girl in the trailer, the bird. Um, I have like all kinds of pictures of supposedly me, um, really embarrassing ones like all over the internet. Um, anyways, these people made up rumors about me. These Satanists, some of them were in the Illuminati, some of them weren't. Some of them were just like regular mind readers, Satanists that were into like different stuff. And at the time, I didn't know anything about this stuff. I just knew that a lot of people were bothering me, a lot of people were stalking me, bullying me, and I didn't know why. I had no idea why, and it just kept happening to me. And over the years, like, things would happen and then another bad thing would happen, and then just things would get worse. Like when I had a baby, my the father of my daughter left me. He messed up my car. I had really bad depression, anxiety. um After that, I got cancer. After that, that photo incident happened to me, and things just like, every time I'll do good, it just felt like people would do anything to try to drag me down. And yeah, so uh I'm trying to stay on topic. Sorry if I'm going out of order, but I'm really nervous right now. Okay, so these people who are into the occult, you can always tell. And like I said, they can transfer energy, they can make you jealous, they can make you angry, they can make you feel insecure. Like, all of their energy, they know how to swap it. Like, if you're a really happy person and you're around like a certain person and all of a sudden you feel like really sad and really mad and really jealous, it's more than likely because they're into the occult. And especially if they're picking on you and making comments about like little things about you that only you would know, like a memory or something that you did at home, like if you farted in your room or scratched your butt, like, I don't know, just stuff, um they can watch you. People who make pacts with the devil and are into the occult, there's a thing called channeling, and they can watch everything that you do. They can hear everything that you do, everything that goes on in your head. I mean, all the things that you think, all the images that you see. Like, I don't know in what order, like, the occult is, like, how much torture and how many things you have to do, because, like I said, I was born a Nawal, a shapeshifter, and these people like me, there's a lot of people like me, you just don't know about it. They can see people's thoughts. They have telepathy. We know how to drain energy. We can heal people. Some of us can. And we're just strong in general. And people in the cult, they try to sell us to get us, people like us, to join their cults because we're strong and we can like do a lot of things. And especially if we torture people and practice and things like that, we can really hurt people. And I didn't know that I was one of these things. Yeah, I'll go into that later. So when I went to the voodoo lady, because I couldn't get a job, things just weren't going right in my life. Um, I didn't know about mind reading. I didn't know about telepathy, like, seeing images in my head from other people, channeling. I didn't know anything about it. I was completely naive to it. And if you would have tried to tell me, I would have been like, you're fucking crazy. I'm sorry. I would have been like, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. You're creeping me out. Get out of my face. Like, I believe in God. That stuff is crazy talk to me. Like, just stay away from me with all that crap. Like, I didn't really have a close relationship with God at the time because I just felt like things never went right every time I prayed. And at one point, I blamed God. But I know I feel really bad saying that because it wasn't God. It was people who were messing with me. And I didn't know that God was protecting me the whole time and keeping me safe. And when I did all these things that were in the occult, all these bad things started happening to me. And I thought God didn't love me. But he does. And he was what was protecting me until I got into voodoo and stuff. When I walked into that place, my whole life turned upside down. It was the biggest mistake of my life. The biggest mistake of my life. I thought that being poor, I had all the problems in the world, but it was the opposite. When I walked in there, everything just went bad. Everything got worse. Way worse. So things just went spiraling out of control fast. And so one day I got really, really desperate, and I asked the voodoo lady, do something, do anything. Like, I lost my job. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to pay rent where I live. I don't want to be poor anymore. I grew up in a trailer for part of my life, and I just didn't want to go back there because people were being so mean to me, and I would get picked on all the time by people who live there. And I just thought, like, if I make more money, I won't have to live there and deal with bad people, and I'll have a better life, and everything will just be better if I have money. But that's not true. Bad people are everywhere. They're rich, they're poor, they're middle class. Bad people are just everywhere, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. It just doesn't matter. But I was naive about that at the time. And so she did a money spell. I sold my soul. I didn't know that I was selling my soul, and maybe she told me, and I just don't remember. In my desperation, I just did it. And okay, so don't ever do a money spell, because it's basically selling your soul. It's making a deal with the devil. The devil will have control over your life. I didn't know. After I made that deal with the devil, I developed telepathy. I started being able to talk to people in my head. I started being able to see images. I knew nothing about mind reading. Like, people tried to warn me about it. They tried telling me, and I'll just laugh about it. Like I said, I just thought it was gibberish, like crazy talk. Like, my aunt tried to tell me, other people tried to tell me. I was just creeped out by mind reading and all that stuff. I thought it was just gibberish. So, like I said, I would go to, like, the grocery store and stuff, like, years later. Like, okay, after I made that deal with the devil, like, I had a boyfriend, and, like, my deal was that I couldn't be with anybody, like, anybody. I couldn't have a boyfriend, I couldn't have a husband. And I met my boyfriend, who's now my husband, and I told him about all the things that were happening to me, and he witnessed, like, a lot of creepy things happening to me, and I was trying to explain to him, like, everything that was happening, and he believed me, and he told me, like, no, you shouldn't do that stuff, like, you're gonna go to hell, like, I love you, you need to go to church. And I would, like, laugh at him. I would laugh in his face and tell him that he was crazy, that was never gonna happen, that all I wanted was money, and I was tired of being poor, and that I just, all I cared about at that time was just having money, dressing nice, smoking weed, and drinking, and that's it. That's all I wanted, and of course to take care of my kid. I wanted to get like my own house and have a company, and I wanted to be rich. I really wanted to be rich, and that was always what I wanted. I wanted to be on my own, and like my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time. I loved him so much, and I didn't want to leave him. And those people telepathically, they kept reminding me about my deal with the devil, and I would always tell them, okay, I'm gonna leave him tomorrow. I'm gonna leave him. Like, I'm gonna leave him eventually. And I kept postponing it, and I kept postponing it. And one day I was living with my cousin, and I remember I just felt so much anxiety, and I heard all these. I fell asleep, and it was like a dream or something, but I felt like I was kind of awake. But I heard all these voices, and they were telling me if I wanted to live, that I had to be a pedophile. If not, they would kill me, ruin my life. I went through this torture. Like, all these people just, it sounded like maybe of like a group of 50 or something, just telling me you have to do this, like a lot, like men, women, just like so many, like a big crowd just chanting, like you have to be a pedophile. We have big plans for you. You're gonna be famous. You're gonna be a singer. You're gonna be on TV. Like all these things. Like you could do whatever you want. But they told me you have to be a pedophile. And I remember I kept arguing with these people in the dream. And then finally, when I agreed, I woke up, and I remembered everything that they were telling me. And I was shaking. And I remember that I woke up and I still was hearing people, and they were telling me that I was gonna die. And I got really freaked out, and I moved back in with my grandma, and she's Christian, and I told her about everything that was happening to me and how I went with the voodoo lady and everything that happened. And she thought I was crazy. She honestly thought I was crazy. She didn't believe me. And anyways, I went back in with her because I was just scared about dying and everything that happened to me. And I had another dream, and they were basically telling me the same thing, that I had to break up with my boyfriend. And I didn't want to. I honestly didn't want to, because I was so in love with him already, and I just couldn't get myself to break up with him. And I remember I went to sleep. I was trying to fall asleep. And I heard all those voices again, and I felt something like possessing me, and like telling me that I had to die, or else, I forgot why, but basically that I had to kill myself, and I was a bad person, and I didn't do what I was supposed to, and then if I lived, my life was going to be ruined. And I don't remember all the threats exactly, but that was basically like the gist of it, that I had to kill myself. And like I said, I just felt like something possessing me, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of sadness, a lot of people, like in that dream, it sounded like a lot of people, like 50 or more, talking, like I don't know how many, but like a lot, a big crowd just chanting, telling me that I had to kill myself, and just all these things. And like I even went to like the kitchen, and I grabbed a knife, and I almost did it. I was gonna cut my wrist, and I freaked out, and I was like, but if I do this, like I'm gonna go to hell. And I got really, really scared, and I prayed to God, and I asked him to save me, because I was scared, and I didn't want to go to hell, and I was freaking out. And it was really scary, because my whole life I never knew about telepathy or mind reading, or or Satanists or Illuminatis. I thought it was all like just very far out things like UFOs or something. Like I didn't know how many people were involved with these kinds of things, and it freaked me out when I found out about everything. Like I believed in God before that. I lived in my own bubble. I didn't believe in mind reading. It was just a total shock to me. And yeah, so long story short, I moved in with my boyfriend. We got married. We had 2 kids. Things seemed to get better at this new house until people started stalking me again and basically making up stuff about me, saying that I was disabled, that my boobs were fake, that my butt was fake, that I wore butt pads, that I was a pedophile, and yeah, so obviously that's not true. And I just went to live with all those people that were harassing me and stuff. I just didn't care. I thought to myself, like, as long as I mind my own business and I pray to God, like, it doesn't matter what they say or what they think. And, you know, I just didn't care. And these people that would harass me, they would show up, like, wearing, like, the things that I was gonna wear that day, like, things that I wore, talking like me, walking like me, showing up wearing, like, the same things, like my perfumes, the shoes, like everything, just random people just copying like everything about me, like everything. And it was really, really creepy. And they would even say like little things about like what I was making for dinner or like yeah, so sorry. They would know just like a lot of intimate details that nobody would know. And it was really scary because sometimes I'll think things to myself and there would be nobody there. It would just be me, and they would bring up those things, or they would bring up like details about like me and my husband making love or something, or just really inappropriate stuff. And that's how I knew that this stuff was really real. And yeah, and I still had doubts about it when I moved into this house over here in El Monte. I live in LA, like the county of Los Angeles. I live next to Leg Lake. Um, so I remember one time I was watching. Oh no, I'm skipping. Okay, so a long time ago, uh, I went with my friends, 2 of my friends. This guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but 2 guys friends, and we went over here to the riverbed in South El Monte, and we were drinking, of course, and smoking and just hanging out. And I remember I heard people laughing where the nursery is. There's a nursery right there by the riverbed, all kinds of like trees and stuff. And I remember I told my friends, like, you guys, do you hear laughing? Like, why do I hear laughing? Where the heck are those people coming from? And they're like, what are you talking about? We hear coyotes. And I was like, no, you're crazy. Like, I hear laughing. And like, they're like, what are you talking about? And I remember when we were at 7-Eleven, like, there's this really pretty girl, and she walked in, like, to the beer section, and they're both like, what do you think she is? What is she? And I was like, oh, she looks Mexican to me. And they're like, they just looked at each other, and they're like, oh, she doesn't know. And I was like, what do you mean she doesn't know? What are you talking about? Like, she looks Mexican. And then they started talking about my smell, and they're like, there's something very, arousing and enticing about her, but then there's something very repulsive. And what I didn't know at the time was that werewolves and vampires, they don't get along. And I didn't even believe in this stuff. I thought it was complete gibberish, like just crazy talk. And yeah, so that happened before we went to the riverbed and they heard like coyotes like howling and I heard laughter. And they were really weirded out. They went back to the car and he got this really big like hammer looking thing, like it probably weighed like 30 pounds. Like it was really, really big. It looked like that hammer thing that Harvey Quinn carries. And so we just got drunk and I thought nothing of it. Years later, I'm with my husband, married, and we watched the Underworld. And I made a joke to him like, I think that the world is a lot like the Underworld. I probably don't know it. Like it was like a joke. I just joked with him. And he was like, yeah, you're probably right. And so I remember I was just thinking that, and I was smoking weed outside because I had anxiety, and I was getting harassed by like a lot of people, and weed was like my anxiety healer, I guess. I don't know, but I remember I was just thinking and thinking about what happened to me that night at the riverbed, and I saw like a figure of a man. It was weird because he looked like invisible, but kind of like water, like a shape of water, like walking in front of like a tree. And but it was like the shape of a man, and he was like moving the bristles, and he was looking at me, and his eyes were like blue, but not like blue eyes like of a human. They're just like all like